Hey, everybody. Here we are with Dean Grant from Grant's Pest and Animal Control. Dean, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Paul.
Thanks for jumping on. So, just a few minutes ago, I was asking you for your domain name, and I went to your domain name and got all creeped out from it because you got these bugs all over the screen. Very cool. I like it. It's definitely appropriate for the business you're in. So that looks really good. Looks cool.
Yeah, we definitely were quite happy with the website. We made it a few years ago. We've really stepped up our online game in the last couple of years, and traditionally we were just word of mouth, print,
Yeah.
very traditional. And but customers are they're savvy, they're tech savvy, they're online, so we want to try and keep up, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I wanted to get you on here because this is all about support local business, and we're in COVID, so things have changed, and we're the way we're dealing with things. Tell me how has that affected you guys from the COVID side of things?
Back in March, I'm not gonna lie, like any business, I was quite concerned about how we were going to, move forward. Now, for us, being in pest control, it's kind of a natural transition in terms of the safety protocols because we're generally masked anyways. A lot of our work's exterior. So when it came to safety protocols, it actually was fairly easy for us to adapt. My concern was, whether customers were going to have, the economy, right? And it's luckily, I know a lot of businesses have struggled. We've had a pretty decent year, and in some particular pests, we've actually seen increases in calls. And I'd like to tell you about that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear that. You probably get some pretty unique calls. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So one of the areas where we've seen, I would say actually a pretty significant increase, probably 25% increase in call volume is rodent control and particularly mice. And a lot of this is most of our clients are residential. We'll say that. And what's happened is a lot of people are in their homes, right? And they're in their home offices. And I think that they likely had rodents before, but they didn't spend enough time in their house
Right.
to really be aware. And it's amazing because like the phone, especially the last month, and everyone's saying almost the same thing. I'm sitting in my office, I could hear them running in the ceiling, right?
That's crazy.
Whereas most people traditionally use their homes, I shouldn't say traditionally, but a lot of people use their homes just to sleep and
Yeah.
to eat, sleep, and then they go out to work, they entertain, they do all these other things. So it's we've adapted to the challenges, and we're just moving forward. So
That's
it's
creepy. And is it because the weather's changing too, and these rodents are trying to come in now, or?
Yeah, this year in particular has just been, we give guarantees on almost all of our work unless it's a special circumstance. And we've also had probably more callbacks this year for especially rodents than we've ever had. And, I can only attribute that to just increased rodent activity. Um,
Wow.
and, it'd be interesting to, look at some of the other companies, look at some of the
Yeah.
stats, but our techniques haven't changed, right? And,
Yeah.
they work, and there seems to be more pressure on those in particular, that specific pest.
Okay, you got to tell me, like, I'm dying to know, like, a crazy worst story ever. Kind of like dirty jobs with Mike, whatever his name is. What was one of your wildest calls?
Well, there's two that stand out, but I like this one. I got a call for a resident, and they told me they had a raccoon in their living room, and it was about 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And I thought, okay, like, how do you know that you have a raccoon in your living room? He says, I can see the footprints. And so the gentleman had a white carpet, and we went to his house. We made it there about 7 o'clock. I was pretty impressed. I thought that was a good turnaround, and we made it there. And sure enough, it came down the chimney, and he wasn't using the fireplace, but it had moved the board and
Uh,
came into his house, and you could see the footprints of the ash across this white carpet, and they led into this kind of a cupboard. We had books and CDs and things in it. And he said it's in there, and sure enough, we opened the door. The raccoon was in there, and we snared it. And I have these, live capture gloves, let's call them. We wrestled it, put it in a cage.
Oh, that's gross.
And
no way.
It was quite an experience. It was pretty funny though.
I remember when I had a raccoon on my deck and I opened the sliding glass door and he heard me and just looked at me. But because the screen was still there, he couldn't really see me. So I opened the screen and went like this, and he came right back at me. I closed the door and I went back in the house. Those things are vicious, eh?
They are vicious. And I've only, to be honest, we don't capture them by hand very often. It's quite rare, to be honest.
Yeah. And
it's for safety reasons and whatnot. But I've captured two with my hands with the gloves, and they've been small. And those small raccoons, they are very strong, very strong. So I wouldn't want to tangle with a full size adult by any means.
It's crazy. Great story. So what are you guys doing primarily? Like, what's the main part of your business?
I'd say the two most common things that we're doing. Well, let's do three. So rodents is top. We do carpenter ants are pretty significant, and we do exterior sprays for spiders and wasps and things on the exterior of the home.
Right.
And by volume, those are our three biggest. But what makes us a little bit unique is we're a full service company. So what I mean by that is we're licensed trappers. We do pest control and animal control, and we do almost every pest and every animal. It's a family business. My the business has been around for over 40 years now. So, we're quite adaptable to whatever the situation you have. A lot of times we'll get called for a noise in the attic, and the customer's convinced it's one thing and it turns out it's another, but it doesn't matter. We're there. We can fix it.
And you guys got to go in and check it out.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. What about Pigeon and goose control? Do you guys do any of that stuff as well, or?
Yeah, so when it gets into birds, it's specialty work really, and we've done some. We've done some work with the city of North Bay. We've done a little bit of work with the North Bay Jail, a little bit with some of the school boards. Right. But you call us and we can talk over the phone. It's free, and we try and get a lot done over the phone. Save time, save money. When it comes to some of the specialty thing, obviously there's costs associated with it, and sometimes it's a challenge residentially. So
yeah,
it depends on the application.
So I would think you guys would slow down in the winter months, but I was speaking to your wife the other day and she says, actually it's pretty busy. So what are you doing in those winter months?
Yeah, so there is a seasonality to the business, but we offer remediation work as well. Okay. So when it comes to rodents, raccoons, squirrels, these types of things, they'll do a mess of the attic. Bats in particular, different animals, and some insects, and so I do attic. We do some attic work. We have some equipment that cleans attics, and we do some necessary siding repairs, exclusion type stuff. And so usually I'll try and book that and save that for a later date, because when spring and summer we're quite busy spraying. Obviously there's seasonality in Northern Ontario, right. But because we do full service, it keeps us busy. I mean, bed bugs are all year round. Cockroaches, gotcha. Rodents really are all year, but it comes in waves, so we prepare for that. We've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, the website's grantspestcontrol.com. What areas are you servicing?
Yeah. So once again, this makes us a little bit unique. I think, we have a very large service area. Our main focus is North Bay. And if you notice, though, our mailing address is Mattawa. So we live between, essentially the office, home-based office is between North Bay and Mattawa, but we're a mobile business, and
Right.
we go as far as Sturgeon, Verner. We go up to Martin River. We go for north side. We go as far east as Pembroke almost.
Wow.
It's job specific, but what we find is there's a lot of custom. We go south, go as far south as South River, and what we find is that a lot of pest control companies want to focus in the city, and we do too. Like, we love working in the city,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of rural customers. There's a lot of outlying customers that are underserviced. So we're more
Right.
than willing to do that extra travel and service those customers as well.
That's awesome. Listen, you've got a really cool website. So I encourage anybody watching this, check out the website, grantspestcontrol.com. It's orange, my favorite color. It's got some creepy bugs on it, but there's lots of good information on the site that I was going through that can really help somebody, if they've got some concerns. Start there and then give you guys a call. What's the best number to reach you at for North Bay?
So absolutely, our office number is it's really our main number is 705-744-0256, and it's right on the front of the website. And essentially everything comes through that number. You'll talk with Cindy.
Okay.
And we really encourage people to call. It's old fashioned, but you can get a lot out of the way in a quick phone conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little more difficult over an email, and there's no obligations. You just call and we can chat. And if you want to go ahead, you like what you hear, that's, we'll fit you in a schedule. So,
and when you guys show up, you're taking all the COVID protocols because you're already masked up. You've got provisions in place for that.
Yeah. I mean, typically, so we wear, it's not COVID, but we wear shoe covers, shoe protectors. We have lab coats that we wear. I'm almost in a mask most of the day anyways, whether I'm in an attic or, doing pesticide application or, in gloves. I'm wearing gloves almost all day regardless. So, we take it seriously, but it's a little bit easier for a company like ours, I think,
for sure.
To adapt, because we're already used to PPE, and we're used to, protocols when it comes to,
right.
hazardous potentially hazardous substances.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, Dean, thank you so much for hopping on. I greatly appreciate it. It's good to know. I didn't know that you guys were here. So it's hopefully this helps you with some exposure and helps the people in the market that are looking for your services. So thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, Paul, I really appreciate it. I know that there are people that don't know that we are here. We've been servicing the area for about 7 years, but it's just been a slow build. You know what? It's been good lately, and our names is getting out there, and almost all of our advertising's online. So that might explain why some people that are more local, more paper based type, we might not get that exposure, but we're working on it.
Yeah. I think all the eyeballs are pretty much on digital, mobile, desktop, laptops. So I think you're in the right space. Plus, I'm a digital guy too. Sorry about that. Someone's buzzing me here. I'm a digital guy too, and that's where I think the eyeballs are, anyways. So
yeah, it has helped us, and like it's almost helped us. We didn't intuitively do it. It was just kind of coincidence, but it's helped us prepare for this particular time as well.
Right.
We really went online probably 3-4 years ago, and it was actually a cost decision really on marketing. Print was just getting to be a huge part of our budget, and we flipped it onto Google AdWords and Facebook and stuff, and it's good.
Which is provable, trackable, measurable. You can't measure the paper. You can hardly measure radio. So when you get into the digital side and you can see the links and where they're clicking and where they ended up and did they convert, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle, right? So if you're running Google Ads, you can see all those metrics. So you know that you spent $100, but you drove 3 conversions, which ended up putting $600 in revenue in the till. I'd make that bet in Vegas all day long. Spend $1 to make 6, no problem.
I would like to add one more thing, Paul, too,
Yes.
that one of the things that is particularly on the marketing side, and just so customers are aware, there's a constant debate in the company, whether or not to mark our vehicles. And
Right.
traditionally, pest control companies are fully unmarked, and so we believe in that, and that has been the way we've been. So you will not see our vehicles driving around. Uh,
Nice.
you're not, so cases with especially commercial clients and people that they don't want their neighbors to know if they have bed bugs or
Yeah, I don't think a restaurant's going to want to see a pest control company, in the parking lot.
because we don't know what we're doing, whether we're
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
maintenance, what we're doing, right? And generally, if you see a pest control company, it's a good thing. Like it's a
Yeah,
good
I hear
thing
you.
they're there. But
Preventative measures.
and 10 times out of 10, it's a good thing they're there. But
Yeah.
it's still, to me, I still believe that a true professional company in pest control. I still believe that they are unmarked, and that's what we've done. So that could explain too why you haven't seen our vehicles, because they're quite low key.
Makes sense. I knew that about the industry, and I think people appreciate that. Even from home, I don't know if I'd want a big logoed up truck in my driveway because people don't know what it's there for, right? It could just be an exterior spider thing, and instead of it, maybe it's cockroaches.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
we just,
great idea.
we did, I would love, I really got some cool ideas for a vehicle too, but we'll keep that at the bay. Maybe I'm actually, yeah, anyway, maybe one day we'll have marked vehicles, but this
Yeah,
time
yeah.
we don't.
The best marked vehicle I ever saw was the plumber that's sitting in his van, but below him is the toilet.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like he's, doing his business while he's driving. It's fabulous marketing.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic. It's fun too, right?
Perfect. Dean, thank you so much. Again, the number is 705-744-0256 or grantspestcontrol.com. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you to everyone listening.
Okay,
Give us
thanks.
a
Bye-bye
call.
now.
Bye.